to the Ask A Realtor Show. We have a special guest with us this week. But first I'll do introductions. To my right, the lovely Courtney Hilligus, our Palmerton expert. To my left, Mr. Dewey Kern, the owner of Penspect Home Inspections. He's going to talk to us today about radon. And to my far left, I have Ms. Diane, who's just awesome. Are you an art? Oh, you are an expert
in
everything. Diane, her motto is your best friend's realtor. So she is a husky lover. This show isn't about Diane, but if you have a dog that you love and you're looking for an agent, call Diane. You'll have a lot to talk about. So let me reel it back in. We're here today to talk about radon, and I have a couple questions. As a home buyer, when you get to the meeting with the real estate agent where they talk about which inspections do you want, one of the options is radon. So there's lots of opinions on this, but we have the expert here today to talk to us about this. Dewey, tell us why a buyer would want to get a radon test.
Well, it may be a good idea because it is somewhat prevalent in this country as a whole. There's been a good amount of testing by the EPA on radon, and they have stated that it's actually the second largest cause of lung cancer, second to cigarette smoke.
Wow. Okay.
So the only way you can know if you have a elevated radon level in your home is to test for it. It's odorless, it's colorless, as a gas. So. And
it's heavy, so it'll go down to the lowest level of the building, which is where they test for it. Correct?
That is correct. Yeah, the lowest livable level of the building is what DEP, Pennsylvania, dictates where it should be tested.
For humans, because like there might be little rodents in your crawl space.
This is for humans. Yes.
It's true. Okay, and having said that, I also want to throw in, I had a radon 4 picocuries, whatever that is the EPA limit to what radon level is allowable or okay to live with. In my experience, I once had a level higher than that in the basement. It was maybe around 8 or 10 or something. And that company had attached something that kind of put it in perspective for me. They said you'd have to spend 8 to 10 hours a day in the basement for the next 10 years, and that would increase your potential of lung cancer for about 1%. So for me, radon is real, it is a cause, but I don't know that it's a panic cause. Is that fair to say?
Yes. From the studies they've done, what they've discovered is it's long-term exposure that becomes a risk, similar to cigarette smoking. It's more long-term. So it's not like if you're in an area that has high radon and you're in there for 8 hours, that you're going to have a high chance of getting lung cancer. It would be over a period of years, they say, that your risk is. If you're a smoker, interestingly, if you smoke, your risk goes up very significantly.
Combined with radon.
Combined with radon. Yes, if you have radon exposure to higher levels and you're a smoker, yeah, your risk is much higher.
And if you're vaping radon, just give it up right now. We should have talked about vaping. Okay, I love that you brought something for show and tell. What have you got here?
Well, this is a continuous radon monitor. This particular one is by a company called Sun Nuclear. DEP, for real estate transactions, they allow a short-term radon test. Generally, it'd be good to do a long-term test. Like if you're a homeowner and you're not buying a home and you want to do a radon test, you want to do a test probably for a month or so to really get a good idea of what the radon level is. However, real estate, time sensitive as it is, DEP allows a short-term, minimum 48-hour test. And you can either do charcoal canisters. There's a few methods. Usually you need 2 side-by-side simultaneous tests for 48 hours minimum. With a continuous radon monitor, the nice thing about that is because it records the level of radon every single hour, they allow just the one device. And that's what this does. It'll actually give you a readout of what the radon level is each hour that it's being tested.
Awesome. So if you find your house has radon, there's something called radon mitigation. And basically it's just putting a system of PVC pipes, two pipes in to move it with little fans to move the air. So radon is higher levels are most found if something has been closed up and there's not any air circulating. Safe to say?
Sure.
So when radon is found, the mitigation system is usually something that will move the air that isn't moving otherwise and bring in fresh air from the outside.
And exhaust it out.
Well,
No.
kind of.
Oh.
Actually, the way the
That's
system,
why we have experts.
it does have to do with moving the air. However, the whole idea is radon's coming up from the ground, okay? So it comes up through the slab generally, or if you don't have a concrete slab in your basement for crawl space, then it's just coming up through the stone or whatever. But it comes up into the crawl space or the basement where, because you have walls, it's going to get trapped there. But because it's coming up from the ground, the systems, what they do is they actually, by putting the pipe through the concrete slab, they're now sucking the air from under the slab before it has a chance to come up through the slab.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sucks it up into this pipe and goes through the home wall and then up to the roof line.
That's much better than what I
So they're basically getting it before it comes into the home.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's
That
good.
makes sense. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's even better than what you thought.
Oh, I know. How much does a radon test usually cost if a home buyer is going to opt for that inspection?
Radon testing is going to range anywhere probably from, I know there's different rates, but I would say probably $110 up to $150
For the test and the
for
results?
the test and results.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And would you agree, I've learned not to sound like I know what I'm talking about, would you agree that the mediation systems usually run between $800 and $1,200, or are you not?
Yeah,
That
that seems about
Okay.
what I've heard. Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I've heard.
All right, very good.
I have a question.
Oh,
Is there certain times a year where the levels can be elevated from changes of seasons, from
Sure.
spring to winter, or spring to summer,
Yes.
winter to spring?
If you're one who is opening your windows in the
Mhm.
warm weather, then you're going to have probably reduce your levels if you were to have a higher level overall, only because you're letting the air out that's in your home. So that will affect it. Rain will affect it also because radon's coming up out of the ground all around us all the time. It just dissipates into the air. Under a home, it gets stuck in the crawl space or the basement and then in the house itself. So during rain, the pores of the ground are saturated with water, so the radon can't come up as readily, but under your house it can. So you may get more of a level of radon on, in your house
Okay.
during a prolonged period of rain.
because it's not getting out somewhere else, so it finds the house?
Well, the ground is not filled with water under your slab, so it's just
Hopefully.
it's the
Okay.
same.
Yeah,
So the
hopefully.
radon that
We
can't
have
get
a water
up
issue.
through the ground around your home now is going to find a path
Of least resistance.
of least
Right.
resistance. So
So it's
that's
gonna-
why you'll have
Did
higher
you know
levels.
that? Is that why you asked this
It
question?
so makes sense.
She's so smart.
Maybe.
So if you have a dog and you want a smart agent, call Diane. This was good. This was good. So a homeowner, a home seller, could do a long-term one if they wanted to.
Oh, sure. Yes, if you're not restrained by time, then sure. It's recommended to do a long one, maybe a month or so.
Now, for those of you who watch our show regularly, you'll know that this is the point in the show where we look to our guests and ask them for a reduction or like a coupon for our clients or our people watching the video. So, Dewey, if anyone, we did not talk about this.
That's the first time I'm hearing about this, but that's okay.
He's prepared.
Is there anything you want to throw out to anyone watching?
Yes.
Go ahead.
If anyone mentions this video and requests a radon test, I will give them a $20 off a radon test.
Nice.
All right.
I have another question.
No, we're running out of time. These are supposed to be short.
Well, when you have a good topic like this, inquiring minds want to know, maintenance on the system. Once you install a system, is there a maintenance structure that a homeowner should follow from a timing standpoint? They put it in 1 year, should it be inspected once a year, twice a year, every 5 years?
Not necessarily. It's a very simple system. It's, as you mentioned, it's PVC pipe with a fan installed on the pipe. So the fan is your only really part that could need maintenance or replacement.
Okay.
Most often they will install on the pipe a U-shaped tube with liquid in it. Okay, so it's recommended that maybe once a month you just take a glance at that tube to make sure that the liquid is offset. That shows you have vacuum. The fan is working, it's pulling air. If you ever see it level, you know your fan's not working. So it's either got no power or there's a problem with the fan. So you may have to replace the fan, but that's really the only thing that would get replaced. As far as once you put the system in, they're supposed to do a clearance test right afterwards to make sure it brought the level down to an acceptable level. But the EPA still recommends that maybe once or twice a year you have it retested, your radon, just to make sure. If you do any renovations or changes to your basement, then again, they recommend you retest.
And do you install the systems?
No.
No?
No, I don't.
Do you want to give a plug for your home inspection thing?
Yeah, what else does PenSpec do
Before we
for
wrap this
the
up?
area?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Anything to do with purchasing a home for home buyers. Of course, general home inspection. We do wood destroyed insect inspections. We do septic system evaluations, water testing, and radon testing.
Thank you for being here today.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Be
much.
here.
Feel
Thanks for
free to
having me.
give us our likes, make comments, give us suggestions for other shows. Are you a veteran, Dewey?
No.
Okay. Veterans Day is coming up. We want to remind all vets that we offer a discount commissions for veterans, pastors, first responders, teachers, gosh, almost everybody. If you serve the community and think you deserve a reduced commission, you call us. We'll talk about it at least. Anything else?
That's all.
That's it.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.